Welcome to my Vellum Stories channel.
How about we solve the hidden mystery of the pyramids together?
I think that's enough mystery to put you to sleep. Let's go then.
The Great Pyramid of Giza has been accompanied by a remarkably simple story for approximately 5,000 years. Pharaoh Khufu commissioned this colossal structure as his own tomb. Legend has it that thousands of laborers, equipped only with rudimentary copper tools, ropes, and immense determination, managed to complete this gigantic feat in a mere 20 years. However, beneath this seemingly straightforward narrative, a much deeper and more intricate history may lie concealed. This is because much of what we know about the pyramids is not founded upon solid, definitive evidence, but rather on educated guesswork and speculation. Furthermore, the accepted history might not just be incomplete, but perhaps deliberately obscured. At the heart of this enduring mystery stands one individual, Dr. Zahi Hawass, widely considered to be Egypt's most powerful archaeologist. For decades, Hawass has exercised tight, almost absolute control over all excavations, discoveries, and virtually every ancient secret lying buried beneath Egyptian soil. He is notorious for his resistance to independent research and his determined efforts to suppress alternative viewpoints that might challenge the official narrative. There are even claims suggesting that some of the information disseminated about the pyramids simply does not align with verifiable reality. Numerous details, from secret chambers that remained sealed for centuries to the unbelievably intricate stonework, still fall short of explaining the true reality behind these much debated structures. Yet the essential question remains: is everything we believe we know genuinely limited to what the proponents of the established order have passed down to us?
Is it truly possible that the Great Pyramid was constructed, as historians often propose, using only simple hand tools, ropes, and wooden rollers? Or was it built using an ancient knowledge or method that we struggle to comprehend even with today's advanced technology? If the latter is true, who possessed this profound knowledge? And why did they undertake such an enormous effort? These questions propel us not just into the secrets of the pyramids, but into the pursuit of greater, forgotten mysteries that once dominated the ancient world. Today, we face the critical question of why discoveries that could fundamentally alter the course of human history have seemingly been covered up for years. Is there a completely different plan being executed behind the scenes? Perhaps under the guise of protecting Egypt's cultural heritage? Or do these monuments contain far more than meets the eye? Tonight we will delve deep to bring to light the evidence hidden behind these great unknowns. When we think of ancient Egypt, we envision gold-laden tombs, complex hieroglyphs, and the iconic Pyramid of Giza rising from the desert sands. However, today we will trace the path not just of what is known, but of what has been kept out of sight. And the answers we encounter may force you to question everything you thought you knew. The crumbling foundation of the official story. According to the established narrative, it has long been believed that the Great Pyramid was constructed around 2550 BC for Pharaoh Khufu as a magnificent tomb, utilizing only basic hand tools and the labor of thousands of workers. At first glance, this claim presents itself as an impressively compelling example of ancient engineering prowess. However, when this theory is examined in detail, its power of persuasion largely collapses.
What is most striking is the near total absence of strong, concrete evidence to support this widely accepted account. Conversely, it is becoming increasingly apparent that many of our assumptions may not rest upon a solid foundation at all. Given this truly astonishing realization, could we be fundamentally mistaken about who built the Great Pyramid and how they managed to bring such a monumental structure into existence? While the historical significance of the pyramid is undeniable, there is a notable lack of any existing inscription or text dating from Khufu's era that explicitly states he ordered or oversaw its construction. Intriguingly, the ancient Egyptians meticulously documented nearly every facet of their lives, from mundane daily activities to elaborate religious rituals. Yet the absence of clear documentation regarding their most spectacular architectural achievement is profoundly baffling. Archaeologists occasionally refer to faint marks or symbols discovered within the pyramid's deeper, hidden chambers. However, it is a crucial point that these were only found centuries after the pyramid's initial discovery, a fact that has raised serious questions about the authenticity of these markings. Furthermore, the mere presence of an individual's name within a structure does not automatically signify that this person was the one who commissioned or executed the project. One of the most perplexing contradictions revolves around the Great Pyramid's primary function. Traditional Egyptology insists the structure was an extravagant tomb for Khufu. Yet, unlike other known royal tombs, the pyramid contains no inscriptions or glorifying symbols relating to Khufu. Moreover, no decorative artifacts, precious funerary objects, and most critically, no remains of Khufu himself have ever been discovered. Had this structure genuinely been intended as a royal burial place, one would have fully expected to encounter grave inscriptions, portable archaeological materials, and ancient treasures within it. Instead, all these crucial elements are conspicuously absent. This void leaves us confronting a vital question. What was the Great Pyramid's true purpose? Could it have served a function far more complex and distinct than the traditional views espoused by historians?
The riddle of precision and lost technology. Moreover, the structural characteristics of the pyramid introduce another layer of enigma. Modern engineers and architects are still left astounded by the incredibly precise alignment of the pyramid to true north. Astoundingly, this level of accuracy, achieved in a period supposedly lacking sophisticated measuring instruments, deviates by only tiny fractions of a single degree. The immense granite blocks found within the pyramid present yet another puzzle. Some weigh as much as 80 tons, and the tool marks on them bear a striking resemblance to high-tech machining techniques. How granite, a notoriously hard material, was cut with such precision using the simple copper tools of the era remains a great mystery. Engineer Christopher Dunn meticulously examined the granite stones, finding evidence of perfectly circular drill holes and cuts of exceptional precision. These features appear exceedingly difficult, if not virtually impossible, to replicate using primitive methods. When modern researchers attempted to recreate these impressive cuts with copper chisels, the results were an absolute failure. Their tools quickly became unusable, and despite days of intense effort, only minimal progress was achieved. This brings a significant question to the forefront. If even today's technology struggles with these challenges, how did the ancient Egyptians execute such delicate, precise work thousands of years ago? Peering back after just an hour, a subtle movement of about toward the apex of the structure was observable, a fascinating detail pointing to internal dynamics we barely grasp. Beyond this, another startling piece of evidence emerges from the intricate network of passages and chambers within the Great Pyramid. It is self-evident that to construct such complex internal spaces, the builders would have required reliable sources of light, enabling workers to see clearly and move safely. The conventional explanation posits that this necessary illumination was provided by torches or oil lamps. However, meticulous examination of the ceilings and walls has revealed something extraordinary: a complete absence of soot, smoke residue, or any scorch marks.
If these ancient methods of illumination had been employed, such telltale traces would be an inevitable result. This conspicuous lack of evidence thoroughly challenges the traditional account and raises new, intriguing questions. Did the builders of the pyramids possess in advanced, possibly long forgotten, lighting technology? Or does this glaring absence of soot imply an entirely different architectural approach? Perhaps one that negated the need for visible flames altogether. These discoveries strongly suggest the possibility that the pyramids were engineered by individuals possessing a level of knowledge or technology far superior to what is currently accepted. Mainstream historians, particularly those under the leadership of Dr. Zahi Hawass, have consistently chosen to vigorously defend the existing historical narrative rather than engage in open debate about such radical ideas. Independent researchers who put forward compelling alternatives often face harsh criticism. For instance, Robert Balville, who put forward the influential Orion correlation theory, highlighting the perfect alignment between the Giza pyramids and the pattern of the Orion's belt constellation, has been met with intense skepticism and resistance. The geological enigma of the Sphinx. Similarly, researchers like Dr. Robert Schoch and John Anthony West have presented impressive geological evidence pointing to intense water erosion around the base of the Sphinx. West's careful study of the unusual weathering patterns on the bedrock clearly indicated that the erosion on the Sphinx was primarily caused by prolonged heavy rainfall and running water, decisively contradicting the prevailing view that suggests most of the weathering was caused by wind and sand. The Sphinx and the quarry ditch surrounding it exhibit a distinct type of erosion, a rounded, undulating weathering profile that is typically characteristic of sustained exposure to heavy rain and torrential downpours. This is where the true mystery begins. The astonishing truth is that the level of precipitation required in the Sahara Desert to create this degree of erosive water damage last occurred approximately 12,000 years ago, at the close of the last ice age.
If repairs were indeed made due to water damage, the crucial question hangs in the air. When did the desert experience that much water? The surprising answer points again to the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago. This timeline radically suggests that the Sphinx might have been constructed by a civilization far older than the accepted ancient Egyptian culture. This is the groundbreaking theory West developed. The hypothesized story of the Sphinx unfolds as follows. In very ancient times, before Egypt descended into its current desert state, the Giza Plateau was a lush, fertile savanna. A large, prominent natural rock outcrop stood on the plateau. Capitalizing on this distinct feature, an unknown group of master sculptors carved a colossal face into the stone. This face might have represented a sacred lion or a deity figure appropriate for that distant era. Perhaps the dynastic Egyptians later adapted or reshaped this existing structure, an ancient relic from a forgotten age, to suit their own purposes. Over time, the climatic conditions changed, ushering in the end of the Ice Age and bringing intense, heavy rains to the region. The effect of these rains eroded and sculpted the rock, bringing it closer to the form we see today. Then the rains ceased, and the once fertile savanna began its transformation into the Sahara Desert. As the millennia passed, wind-blown sands progressively buried much of the statue, a process that ironically preserved the water erosion marks on the lower body of the statue for thousands of years. It is plausible that the statue was later recarved. Finally, the pharaohs of the 4th dynasty, who built the pyramids around 2500 BC, uncovered the Sphinx and reshaped its face to conform to their own portraits. Pharaoh Khafre did not build the Sphinx, he merely restored it. This theory, under the current scrutiny, is supported by potent scientific evidence and stands as one of the most logical explanations available. Nevertheless, mainstream Egyptologists largely reject or ignore this theory. Crucially, they have failed to present an equally convincing alternative explanation. For this reason, the formidable riddle of the Sphinx's true age remains stubbornly unsolved. The resistance to the truth. West's findings unleashed a torrent of new questions. Geologists largely backed West's conclusions. Yet the Egyptologists offered almost no substantive response. West became an uncomfortable figure in academic circles because his presentations were consistent, well-documented, and filled with data that was difficult to refute. In short, he was upsetting the established balance by openly causing the existing truths to be questioned. So how is such a challenge typically handled? Often, the preferred strategy is deliberate silence and calculated neglect. They hope the questions will eventually be forgotten or lose their relevance. Yet this has not happened. This raises a highly significant question. Why the intense resistance to considering different possibilities and undertaking deeper research? Is this stance truly rooted in a concern for preserving Egypt's cultural heritage? Or is it driven by professional reputation, loyalty to academic traditions, or fear of undermining national pride? If there is nothing extraordinary waiting to be discovered beneath the pyramids, then why is there such a strict veil of secrecy and an unwillingness to allow investigation? Perhaps concealed within the pyramid lies a long-forgotten, highly advanced technology. This technology could possess the power to completely reshape our understanding of ancient civilizations. It might even force us to fundamentally question everything we think we know about human history. Every attempt we make to pull back this curtain of secrecy may lead us to results more astonishing and profound than we could ever imagine. The mystery surrounding the builders of the Great Pyramid grows more captivating with every step we take deeper into the enigma. What lies hidden beneath the surface may be far beyond mere speculation.
The mystery of Gantenbrink's door. Typically, conversations only revolve around the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and the narrow passages connecting them. However, recent discoveries hint that the pyramid conceals far more than we previously thought. For example, the discovery made by German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink in the narrow tunnels of the Queen's Chamber in the early 1990s made global headlines. Many experts had dismissed these tunnels as mere symbolic structures, arguing they led nowhere. Yet Gantenbrink directed a small robotic camera into these cramped spaces and made an astounding find. Deep inside the tunnel, a mysterious door was revealed. It was constructed of perfectly fitted limestone and featured two conspicuous copper handles at its top. Known globally as Gantenbrink's door, this discovery created a massive international sensation. One of the most remarkable aspects of this finding was the fact that no other metallic components, such as copper, had ever been found elsewhere inside the pyramid. This strongly reinforced the suspicion that something of significant importance, something worth protecting, was sealed behind that door. Yet, precisely as Gantenbrink and his team prepared to delve deeper into the investigation,
Egyptian authorities abruptly terminated the project without offering any substantive explanation. After nearly a decade of rising public curiosity, another team, sponsored by National Geographic, was finally allowed to resume the work in 2002. This team sought to drill a small bore into Gantenbrink's door for a visual inspection. However, immediately after penetrating the first layer, they encountered another precisely fitted limestone slab behind it, revealing the existence of a second door. Astonishingly, this second door remains utterly unexplored and continues to hold its secrets.
Despite persistent demands from scientists across the globe, Egyptian authorities continue to refuse permission for further research. This sudden and intense resistance at such a critical juncture begs the inevitable question: what is the real reason behind this guarded stance? Are the authorities genuinely focused on the protection of ancient treasures? Or is there something else they are actively seeking to keep out of the public eye? The sense of mystery only intensified in 2017. An international team of scientists used muography, an advanced cosmic ray imaging technology, to non-invasively scan the pyramid's interior. The results were electrifying. High above the Grand Gallery, a colossal, previously unknown void was discovered. This room was of a size comparable to all the pyramid's known chambers combined. However, it appears to have no visible entrance and offers no immediate clues as to its function. Scientists hailed this discovery as one of the most significant archaeological finds in decades. Nevertheless, Egyptian authorities, once again citing vague security and preservation concerns, rejected requests for further physical exploration. Beyond these sealed rooms and hidden passages, the physical evidence contained within the pyramid continues to challenge conventional archaeological understanding. Experts like engineer Christopher Dunn meticulously documented clear patterns and evidence that suggest the use of sophisticated equipment. Specifically, when Dunn examined the granite blocks in the king's chamber, he identified perfectly formed drill holes and precision marks that could not have been created with traditional copper chisels. They appear explicable only through the application of advanced machinery.
Granite is one of the hardest stones on Earth, and the basic tools used in the ancient period would quickly dull or shatter when attempting such work. So how were these immense and resilient materials processed with such perfection thousands of years ago? Such enigmatic findings, the sealed doors, the hidden chambers, and the incredibly fine workmanship lend strong credence to remarkable alternative theories. Perhaps the builders possessed a highly advanced proprietary technology. Or perhaps this knowledge was a legacy inherited from a much older, forgotten civilization predating recorded history. Despite all these exciting possibilities, mainstream archaeology maintains a reserved and reluctant attitude toward deeper investigation. This cautious approach may stem from an effort to protect Egypt's cultural heritage from sensationalized speculation. Yet this very act of protection may be inadvertently preventing us from accessing profound truths hidden deep within our history. Thus, we are left with a cluster of unsolved mysteries. What secrets lie behind those sealed stone doors? What purpose was served by the colossal void discovered in 2017? And could uncovering these hidden areas illuminate who built the Great Pyramid and how they achieved such an extraordinary feat? Under the shadow of all these unknowns, we face only one obstacle in accessing the truths deep within the mysterious Great Pyramid. The gatekeeper of the unknown, Dr. Zahi Hawass. Dr. Zahi Hawass stands out as the definitive figure shaping not just what is known about ancient Egypt, but critically, what remains unknown. For years, Hawass has been the most influential name in Egyptian archaeology, known for his powerful personality, outspoken nature, and deep commitment to preserving the ancient Egyptian legacy. Having held high-ranking positions, including Minister of Antiquities and Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, he wielded immense authority and control.
These positions granted him the power to decide who could excavate, which research would be sanctioned, and which findings would be shared with the world. However, it has been argued that his protective stance hides a more complex and controversial system, one that has been a strict barrier to researchers seeking to critically examine established historical narratives. His supporters might argue that Hawass defended Egypt's priceless treasures against vulnerable exposure or speculative theories. Yet, a disquieting possibility arises. Could his rigid policies have deliberately concealed certain truths in the name of preserving academic traditions and national pride? Such questions inevitably arise when evaluating his lasting legacy. By strictly controlling who could conduct research and what information was released to the public, Hawass effectively made himself the ultimate gatekeeper of Egyptian history. However, such a role may have unwittingly stifled radical changes in our understanding of the ancient world. While Hawass's career has been spent championing Egypt's cultural heritage and elevating the country's reputation on the global stage, his approach has also come with unseen costs. His stringent regulations and policies may have inadvertently, or perhaps consciously, prevented major discoveries from coming to light, allowing critical information about ancient Egypt to remain hidden beneath the sands. This leads to a profound question. Is Zahi Hawass truly preserving Egypt's heritage, or is he serving another agenda? Perhaps secrets that could change the course of history are being safeguarded under his very watch. Until Egyptian archaeology gains true transparency, it seems impossible to definitively know what is hidden behind this system. This is where it becomes crucial to examine the alternative theories that mainstream archaeology has largely excluded from the discussion.
Theories that challenge time. Independent researchers have managed to gather compelling evidence that questions the widely accepted official narrative. We previously discussed Dr. Robert Schoch's striking findings concerning the Sphinx. These discoveries imply that the Sphinx's origins may predate the commonly accepted timeline, possibly linking it to an ancient, forgotten civilization. Building upon this hypothesis, Robert Bauval's Orion correlation theory presents a highly noteworthy set of observations. The three Great Pyramids of Giza exhibit a significant alignment with the stars of the Orion constellation. Critically, this alignment corresponds not to the era of Pharaoh Khufu, but to the constellation's position around 10,500 BC, pointing to a date thousands of years before the traditional historical window. This cannot simply be dismissed as mere coincidence. Orion was associated with the god Osiris in ancient Egypt, the deity symbolizing the cycle of afterlife and immortality. If Bauval's theory is correct, it reinforces the probability that those involved in the pyramid construction possessed advanced astronomical knowledge and intentionally incorporated it into their works. This, in turn, suggests that the technological and scientific capabilities of the ancient Egyptians may have been far more advanced than conventionally believed. Some researchers push these assumptions even further. They propose that the magnificent structures in Egypt may, in fact, be the remnants of a much older, lost civilization, a society equipped with advanced technology and skills that exceed our current understanding. Engineer Christopher Dunn, for instance, in his examination of the granite blocks within the Great Pyramid, identified drilling and cutting marks of precision levels that would be impossible to achieve with simple copper tools. Granite, as a hard material, makes Dunn's observations concerning these precise cuts incredibly challenging even for modern tooling. Was it genuinely possible for ancient Egyptians to exhibit such complex craftsmanship with only basic hand tools? Or did they benefit from the technology of an entirely different civilization? Furthermore, the process of transporting the massive granite blocks remains an unresolved enigma. These stones, weighing up to 80 tons, were quarried hundreds of miles away from the Giza Plateau. Mainstream historians have yet to offer a fully satisfactory explanation for how stones of this magnitude were moved without the use of the wheel or advanced machinery. Even today, transporting such immense weights requires serious equipment, specialized transport vehicles, and detailed planning. Under these conditions, the traditional historical view raises an inevitable question. How did ancient builders accomplish a feat that poses a massive challenge even for modern engineers? Graham Hancock, addressing this, proposes one of his theories, that a highly advanced global civilization once existed but was either wiped out by a sudden catastrophe or slowly declined over time. Hancock points to archaeological sites worldwide, particularly the impressive Göbekli Tepe temple complex in Turkey, which dates back to approximately 12,000 years ago as evidence of a lost civilization. According to him, the advanced knowledge held by these ancient people did not completely vanish. Rather, surviving information was passed down through generations, influencing early Egyptian society. Researchers John Anthony West and Dr. Robert Schoch share a similar view, suggesting that the Egyptians did not spontaneously develop their extraordinary abilities in architecture, astronomy, and mathematics. Instead, they proposed that these skills were inherited from a much older civilization, providing a crucial link that explains why Egyptian culture appears to emerge suddenly in a highly developed state. While mainstream Egyptology often dismisses these theories as unrealistic, the emergence of new evidence makes it increasingly difficult to ignore these perspectives. The enigmatic Osirian temple at Abydos, for example, serves as a powerful case in point. Constructed from massive granite blocks, this structure exhibits a level of precision and craftsmanship that rivals the stonework found in the Great Pyramid itself. Similarly, the massive granite boxes situated within the Serapeum at Saqqara possess a level of precision that challenges even the Bronze Age tools available during that time. The sheer accuracy of their inner and outer surfaces, crafted from incredibly hard stone, seems to defy the known technological capabilities of ancient Egypt. These extraordinary discoveries seriously call into question the traditional historical narrative concerning ancient Egypt and point toward many undiscovered layers of history that lie beneath the surface. So, did mainstream archaeology simply overlook or perhaps intentionally ignore the compelling evidence suggesting that the origins of Egypt's most iconic monuments point to an older, highly advanced civilization? If this is the case, who were these mysterious builders? And how did they acquire such advanced knowledge? The astonishing absence of any definitive inscription linking Pharaoh Khufu to the Great Pyramid, combined with stonework that appears impossible to achieve with simple tools, only strengthens these foundational questions. Furthermore, the existence of sealed chambers and the geological findings pointing to far earlier origins compel us to critically question the official historical account. These fascinating discoveries indicate that the builders of the pyramids possessed a level of knowledge and technical skill that lies far beyond our current conventional understanding of history. These ideas, which initially seemed radical, become progressively more credible with every new piece of data that emerges. It is plausible that the ancient Egyptians possessed far more knowledge than we give them credit for, and that these advanced techniques were simply forgotten over time. Alternatively, these monuments could have been built by an even older civilization, whose technical skills were either passed on or adapted by the later Egyptians.
If these ideas are so compelling, why does mainstream archaeology hold back from investigating them thoroughly? One reason is the existential threat that accepting the existence of an older, more advanced civilization poses to the current historical narrative. Historians, archaeologists, and even nations have based their identity and reputation on the traditional timeline. Rewriting history books, museum exhibitions, and established scientific approaches is no simple task. For Egypt in particular, the possibility that its pyramids might have roots older than its own known civilization, or could be the product of a completely different culture, touches upon sensitive balances of national pride and identity. By resisting deeper inquiries into ancient technologies, hidden chambers, and alternative historical explanations, mainstream archaeology may be unknowingly preventing access to crucial truths lying beneath the desert's sands. Consider for a moment, what if we were to find clear evidence of an advanced, forgotten civilization deep beneath the Egyptian desert?
Such a discovery would not only fundamentally change our view of Egypt, but would alter the entire perspective of human history. All assumptions about our ancestors, what we thought we knew, and their remarkable achievements would instantly be called into question. And what if a vast, secret underground city lay hidden beneath those colossal, mysterious pyramids? Following the impressive pyramid discoveries in 2025, the world received news of another groundbreaking find from Egypt. Just a few weeks prior, new ground-penetrating radar scans uncovered a discovery deep beneath Giza that threatens to overturn the entire accepted history of the pyramids. In March 2025, archaeologists made a shocking revelation beneath the pyramid of Khafre, or Chefre, that sent shockwaves across the scientific community.
The work, spearheaded by Professor Corrado Malanga and Filippo Biondi, revealed radar images showing spiral staircases and vast vertical shafts descending up to 600 meters beneath the Egyptian sands. These structures were intricately designed and complexly constructed to an extent that makes the idea of natural formations nearly impossible. Initially, Dr. Zahi Hawass attempted to dismiss this information as routine radar errors or misunderstandings. "Do not give in to conspiracy theories," he declared. "There is nothing hidden here." Yet, the subsequent findings created an even bigger global sensation. New, confirming radar scans verified the existence of a huge labyrinthine structural system concealed beneath the pyramid of Khafre. This subterranean network, composed of symmetrical chambers, extensive tunnels, and meticulously built areas, was designed with a precision that demands a re-evaluation of everything we know about ancient Egyptian history. This discovery prompted the same questions in everyone's mind. Who built this, and how was such a monumental construction kept hidden for so long? Is this underground world the work of an unknown ancient civilization? At the West Cemetery in Giza, a completely separate Japanese research team began to pull back another curtain of secrecy. Using advanced GPR and electrical resistivity tomography, they detected an L-shaped structure intentionally concealed just 2 meters beneath the sand. But this latest discovery contained much more. Beneath the structure, at a depth of approximately 5 to 10 meters, a large, perfectly square void was found. Could this void indicate an ancient passage or a mysterious door leading even deeper? This entire narrative, spanning from the details of the findings beneath the pyramid of Khafre to the enormous portal-like underground formations at Giza, sheds light on the reality behind why authorities seem hesitant in the face of these new discoveries. When you look back at history, a common pattern emerges. Established archaeology often resists new discoveries, and many initially rejected findings are later confirmed as critically important. Is this cycle repeating itself once more?
Sites like Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe were initially viewed either as impossible finds or dismissed as exaggerated claims. Today, they are celebrated as revolutionary discoveries. We must now wonder if the same pattern is unfolding beneath the sands of the Giza Desert. Is this a case of cautious skepticism Or do the Egyptology community and certain official figures prefer that this secret remain undisclosed? What might be the potential gain in overlooking or downplaying a discovery that could reshape history? The truth beneath Giza cannot remain hidden forever. The new evidence waiting to be uncovered is simply too compelling to ignore. Now, let's immerse ourselves in the scene of this realization. Imagine March 2025. You find yourself on the iconic Giza Plateau in Egypt. You stand beneath the hot desert sun with those famous pyramids rising on the horizon. Now, imagine you are part of a research team scanning the ground beneath these ancient monuments, fully aware that what you might encounter is a complete mystery. Suddenly, the radar screen illuminated, and an entirely unexpected formation appeared beneath the pyramid of Khafre. This was the precise moment experienced by Professor Corrado Malanga and his team when they announced the striking findings from their extensive subterranean radar survey in March 2025. The news instantly went viral across international media. The focus of the research was on 4 enigmatic spiral structures discovered deep underground near the Khafre pyramid. At first glance, these spirals were utterly baffling. There was no certain information regarding their origin or the purpose for which they might have been constructed. Were they mere natural rock formations, or were they the undeniable product of human hands? The radar analysis revealed that the spirals extended deep into the plateau and were positioned in a remarkably distinct, purposeful pattern.
The key question quickly became whether these structures were geological anomalies or the remnants of an ancient, forgotten civilization. Another intriguing detail detected by the radar was the presence of potential water channels or underground tunnels. These unusual water-related formations sparked advanced theories about ancient engineering. Perhaps this was a clue that an ancient people had designed sophisticated systems to manage or utilize subterranean water. Though the initial findings were speculative and preliminary, they unlocked a floodgate of fascinating possibilities concerning intentionally constructed subterranean structures beneath Giza. Researchers honed in particularly on the possibility of ancient water systems hidden beneath Giza. This interest was directly linked to the ancient Egyptians' known, though perhaps understated, genius in water management technologies. Archaeologists began to debate whether, if confirmed, these underground waterways could offer a completely new perspective on the construction methods or the fundamental function of the pyramids themselves. As the news spread, leading Egyptologists and archaeological experts, spearheaded by Dr. Zahi Hawass, assessed the situation with great caution. The ensuing debates that erupted beginning that Saturday brought together a clash of differing viewpoints. Dr. Hawass voiced his strong skepticism regarding the radar data, raising questions about the accuracy and reliability of the results. He questioned the technology employed and emphatically stated that everyone should await further corroborating evidence. The research teams operating the radar, however, stood firm, asserting that their findings were clear and unambiguous.
Dr. Hawass suggested that the spiral structures and potential waterways presented by the radar data were, in all likelihood, natural geological formations.
he stressed that the radar measurements might have been misinterpreted or sensationalized, and that additional research was mandatory before jumping to conclusions about any man-made structures. This view found support among many mainstream archaeologists, who also expressed their doubts. Some experts proposed that the spiral patterns in the radar data could be caused by natural rock formations, or could simply be measurement artifacts stemming from the radar equipment itself. They emphasized the need for caution, recalling similar past investigations where initial findings were ultimately explained by natural causes. Historically, groundbreaking archaeological discoveries have often been met with initial skepticism. For instance, before the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb or the first findings of the Dead Sea Scrolls, many mainstream archaeologists were deeply cautious. Similarly, the initial radar anomalies beneath Giza were immediately dismissed by traditionally minded archaeologists. Despite all this skepticism, the discovery team firmly stood by their findings, highlighting that the data obtained using high-resolution radar technology clearly showed the spiral patterns and underground voids. They argued emphatically that such claims should be investigated thoroughly, rather than simply rejected out of hand. These initial discoveries in March raised far more questions than they answered. The nature of the complex spiral structures beneath the Khafre pyramid, whether they were man-made or the unusual results of natural processes, remained unclear. The question of whether these radar anomalies pointed to ancient water tunnels or some other unknown structure continued to preoccupy minds. Researchers involved at the time may not have realized that their findings were merely opening the door to an even greater discovery.
A short while later, even more dramatic developments came to light. These new discoveries were larger, clearer, and too impactful to be ignored. In June 2025, Professor Corrado Malanga, Filippo Biondi, and their research team managed to stun the world once again on a scorching hot day on the Giza Plateau. The latest high-resolution radar scans conducted beneath the Khafre pyramid revealed the most astonishing findings to date. Deep beneath the Egyptian sands, a colossal underground complex was detected, composed of immense chambers, intricate tunnel systems, and carefully designed spiral staircases. Emerging with greater clarity and detail than ever before, these stunning revelations fundamentally challenged everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt, and immediately ignited furious academic debate. These new radar scans did not merely present ambiguous signals or faint shapes. They clearly revealed a defined complex structure, akin to a subterranean city. The images detailed giant vertical shafts, expansive rooms, perfectly aligned corridors, and those iconic spiral staircases coiling deep into the earth. One of the most breathtaking aspects of the discovery was the depth of these structures. The complex was found to descend to approximately 630 meters, a depth equivalent to twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. The radar data distinctly showed deliberate arrangements in the symmetry and design, providing strong evidence that these structures were not natural formations, but rather intentionally engineered creations. Some chambers, measured at approximately 80 meters wide, were colossal in scale, comparable to an Olympic swimming pool or modern urban structures.
The interconnected tunnels, spiral staircases, and meticulously arranged structural plans further confirmed that a complex of this nature could not be an improvisation, but was the product of highly refined engineering. The findings by Malanga and his team resonated globally, capturing the intense interest of archaeologists, media, and the public worldwide. Many experts agreed that if the accuracy of the research were proven, this discovery had the potential to fundamentally shatter our current understanding of ancient history. The clear evidence of spiral staircases descending deep underground was particularly noteworthy. This data strongly suggested that the ancient Egyptians possessed construction techniques far more complex than was previously assumed. However, these electrifying findings were met with an equal measure of swift criticism. Despite the powerful radar evidence, certain circles within traditional Egyptology reacted with deep skepticism. Critics, including influential figures like Dr. Zahi Hawass, publicly dismissed Malanga's advanced radar findings as exaggerated, unsubstantiated, or simply unreal. While it was proposed that the radar images might represent natural geological structures or that the data could have been misinterpreted, the results were clearly and detailedly documented and meticulously reviewed multiple times. To ensure the accuracy of their data, the Malanga team performed several radar scans using various equipment, cross-validating their findings. The team's approach was transparent, rigorous, and scientifically comprehensive. Yet mainstream Egyptologists largely chose to approach these discoveries with either profound doubt or outright avoidance, which naturally raises a critical question. Why were these archaeologists so quick to doubt or reject new findings of this magnitude? In detailed international statements, Malanga clearly articulated the significance of his team's discoveries. Malanga emphatically stressed the meticulousness of his methodology and stated clearly that the subterranean structures found could not be natural geological formations. The radar data revealed the presence of large, man-made chambers and tunnels deep within the pyramids. These structures, he asserted, were unmistakably architectural works, not natural occurrences.
Furthermore, the research indicated that this complex subterranean structure beneath Giza possesses the potential to fundamentally change our current understanding of history and ancient civilizations. If these structures were indeed built by human hands, which the data strongly suggests, it could prove that the civilizations of that era possessed technology far more advanced than we previously assumed. Despite the solid scientific findings presented by the Italian team, the mainstream Egyptology community remains cautious.
generally maintaining a distanced posture toward further investigation of the claims. While caution in archaeology is certainly important, this immediate skepticism raises several important questions. Why are such promising findings being met with resistance rather than with requests for deeper investigation? The new discoveries reveal tunnels, chambers, and staircases at Giza that already challenge the traditional historical narrative. Whether the mainstream scientific community accepts these findings immediately or not, the evidence at hand clearly warrants serious scrutiny and comprehensive research. With the startling discoveries beneath the Khafre Pyramid, confirmed in June 2025, a massive question, one that Egyptology typically avoids, is brought to the forefront. Were the pyramids truly the work of the ancient Egyptians? Or are these extraordinary structures the product of an even older, forgotten civilization that existed before them? One of the most perplexing features of the Great Pyramid and its surroundings is the scarcity of direct evidence regarding who built them and how. When examining the internal structure of the pyramids, there is a striking absence of clear, definitive information detailing who constructed these colossal structures, what methods were used, or who served as the main leader of the construction effort. This lack of information presents us with one of history's greatest enduring mysteries.
Consider this. If you designed and built a structure this magnificent and impactful, wouldn't you prominently display your name and methods to honor your achievement? Yet, the Giza pyramids present the exact opposite. There is almost no discernible evidence, and the few faint traces that have been found raise more questions than they provide solid proof. We cannot find a detailed construction manual, from the techniques used to move the building stones to the architectural blueprints, or any significant records that directly reference individuals like Pharaoh Khufu as the commissioner of this structure. The only clue linking Khufu to these monuments is a single graffiti mark found on a wall centuries after the structure was allegedly built. While such a find might reassure some researchers, it generates further suspicion for others. To put this into perspective, how logical would it be to assume that one person built your entire house based on a simple signature found accidentally in the attic 50 years after its construction? It is such deficiencies that inevitably fuel alternative theories. Were the pyramids constructed at a much earlier date than presumed? Perhaps by an advanced civilization that predated ancient Egypt. This theory, though often heavily criticized by classical historians, is being eagerly explored by independent researchers. However, those who seek to delve deeply into such ideas frequently encounter scientific or political obstacles. Many researchers attempting to shed light on this mystery must contend not just with a lack of evidence, but also with stringent restrictions imposed by the Egyptian government. It has been repeatedly reported that Egyptian authorities have obstructed international research teams and independent studies instead of supporting endeavors that explore different theories or question the accepted historical narrative. Research beneath the pyramids is rarely permitted. Proposals aimed at testing alternative hypotheses
are often dismissed without serious consideration. This restrictive stance naturally provokes a vital debate. Are the official authorities intentionally keeping new discoveries in the dark? Discoveries that could reveal the true origins of ancient Egypt?
If these structures hold such powerful and impactful secrets for human history, why is more room not being made for new discoveries? Quite the opposite. There is an overarching impression that such work is being intentionally suppressed. So, what truly lies behind this oppositional attitude? Is it the legendary underground chambers, like the Hall of Records, rumored in ancient tales to hold the unbelievable secrets of Egypt's true history? Do the authorities know what is really hidden beneath the pyramids, or are they afraid of the information that might emerge? While modern archaeology attempts to provide comprehensive answers to these questions, every new theory brings forth even more skepticism. Perhaps these magnificent structures bear the traces of a culture far beyond known human civilization, a culture bordering on the mythological, and the research continues to be shaped by this uncertainty. Could these new structures discovered beneath Giza truly be the Hall of Records, or do they at least hold the secrets about who built the pyramids and how? It is not difficult to understand the discomfort felt by the Egyptian government and traditional Egyptologists toward this finding. The Egyptian economy is heavily reliant on tourism, which is based on the established nationalistically tinged historical narrative and the mystique of its ancient civilization. Questioning the accepted belief that the pyramids were built by the Egyptians approximately 4,500 years ago could profoundly impact both the tourism sector and national pride. The more dramatic scenario is the confirmation that the pyramids were built by a more advanced pre-Egyptian civilization. Such a confirmation would require the rewriting of history books, the redefinition of Egypt's historical heritage, and the raising of deep questions about the entire timeline of human history. Can the discovery of these chambers rewrite history and provide the ultimate answers about the construction of the pyramids? While these questions remain uncertain, the evidence and new research techniques that developed in early 2025 have intensified these debates. Another particularly noteworthy element is the work conducted by the Japanese research team, comprised of respected scientists from Higashi Nippon International University and Tohoku University in the Western Cemetery area of the Giza Plateau. The team's analysis, using advanced ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography, has been uncovering enigmatic structures beneath the Egyptian sands. The initial scans revealed an accurately measured L-shaped structure, approximately 82 feet below the surface.
The structure is particularly interesting because it gives the distinct impression of being intentionally covered with sand, suggesting a deliberate effort to conceal it. This unexpected discovery naturally raises questions. Could it be an ancient entrance, a hidden door, or a deliberately sealed corridor used to safeguard something important? However, what most surprised the researchers were the signs of another structure lying deeper. Subsequent scans located another large anomaly beneath this first structure. This second, deeper structure was of a similar size,
but exhibited unusual characteristics in the scans. The radar and electrical analysis suggested that it contained an open void or chamber, likely filled with air or loose material rather than solid stone or earth. The research team meticulously documented their findings and published their results as a scientific article in the prestigious Archaeological Research in Asia journal. The report clearly stated that the distinct shapes of the structures, the manner of their concealment, suggesting intentional closing, and their carefully arranged location pointed strongly toward them being man-made rather than natural geological formations. This remarkable discovery has sparked natural curiosity and various speculations among both scientists and the public. Could these buried chambers be part of a larger, more significant complex? Are they a secret room, an underground temple, or an ancient repository for valuable items? What possible rationale did the ancient builders have for carefully concealing these structures beneath layers of sand? Beyond these questions, another fascinating aspect of the find is its consistency with local Egyptian legends concerning hidden tunnels and chambers beneath the Giza plateau. This only intensifies the curiosity surrounding the region's history. Stories, particularly those about the Hall of Records, which have long been relegated to folklore, are now being evaluated with a new dimension of reality.
Today, human history resembles a book with many missing chapters, especially concerning the origins of human civilization. Discoveries like the subterranean structures beneath Giza highlight more clearly that we may not fully grasp how far back advanced human societies truly extend. Could these enigmatic structures, uncovered in the Egyptian deserts, indeed point to civilizations that existed far earlier than our accepted historical timeline? While mainstream archaeology has remained profoundly cautious on this matter, history has repeatedly demonstrated that revolutionary discoveries force a complete reassessment of what we believe to be true. A prime example that fundamentally altered our understanding of human history is Göbekli Tepe in Turkey's southeastern Anatolia region. Discovered by archaeologist Klaus Schmidt in the 1990s, Göbekli Tepe was initially either not taken seriously or was outright ignored by many mainstream experts. However, as excavations deepened and more information was unearthed, the findings here fundamentally changed our existing perception of human history. Göbekli Tepe is a magnificent complex consisting of massive stone pillars and intricately carved reliefs, and it is dated to approximately 12,000 years ago. Its construction date, around 10,000 BC, directly contradicts the traditional archaeological view that humans at that time were solely hunter-gatherers, incapable of building complex structures. This finding provided strong evidence that organized, advanced communities existed even at much earlier dates. A similar site, Karahan Tepe, discovered more recently in the same region, supports these findings. Excavations there have revealed advanced stone structures, detailed sculptures, and traces of an organized society contemporary with Göbekli Tepe. Both sites challenged the conventional view that early humans were unsophisticated, forcing archaeologists to fundamentally rethink the origins of human civilization.
These examples highlight a model that frequently recurs and is a truth we face in the writing of history. Mainstream archaeology often initially rejects major findings that challenge established beliefs, but eventually, undeniable evidence causes a reconsideration of accepted history. Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe are now recognized by archaeologists worldwide as structures with the power to reshape the timeline of human history. These ancient sites clearly demonstrate that the starting points of human civilization date back much further than previously thought. Is it possible that a similar re-evaluation is now unfolding beneath the sands of Egypt? The sealed chambers, vast tunnel systems, and radar-detected portal-like anomalies beneath the Giza plateau may offer new clues that require us to revisit the missing pieces of history. Furthermore, various ancient traditions point to the existence of advanced civilizations before major global catastrophes. Common narratives across ancient cultures in Mesopotamia, India, and the Americas often converge, particularly in stories concerning massive floods. These societies speak of the traces of advanced civilizations that were wiped out before large-scale disasters. While many scientists classify these stories as merely mythological or symbolic, a growing body of archaeological evidence suggests that these narratives may contain elements of historical reality. The geological studies strongly support the occurrence of significant climatic events and massive global floods around 12,000 years ago, a period known as the Younger Dryas. This period caused radical changes to the Earth's surface and likely had a severe impact on human communities. The synchronicity between this period and the ancient flood myths and the emergence of sites like Göbekli Tepe is highly suggestive. Dr. Robert Schoch, a leading geologist, challenges the views that date the Sphinx to align with traditional Egyptian history. Relying on significant water erosion marks, he proposes that the structure is far older. This evidence aligns strongly with the theory of a lost civilization that may have existed before Egypt's known dynastic history. Additionally, the debated inventory stela found in the Giza necropolis asserts that the Sphinx and certain other artifacts predate the conventional Egyptian timeline. Although this inventory is often dismissed by mainstream Egyptology, the historical data it contains represents a consistent argument supporting the idea that the monuments at Giza may belong to a now forgotten civilization.
Recent radar investigations, which have revealed the existence of unknown subterranean structures beneath the Giza Plateau, add a new dimension to these theories. It is highly plausible that these complex structures could have been built by an advanced civilization that lived before the known Egyptian dynasties. The discovery of such a civilization would severely challenge traditional archaeological narratives, demonstrating that human history is much older and exhibits a much greater degree of technological advancement than we currently believe. If these findings are confirmed, it would be proven that ancient human societies achieved an exceptional level of sophistication in astronomy, architecture, engineering, and mathematics. The universal implications of this discovery could create effects far beyond imagination. These structures may have been intentionally concealed beneath the Egyptian sands for reasons we do not fully understand, perhaps for preservation, or perhaps through deliberate secrecy. If history truly possesses missing chapters, these latest discoveries beneath Giza may finally help us begin to fill those voids. Feel free to share your thoughts and theories with me. I will certainly respond to the comments I find most insightful. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive. As we face these profound mysteries, we must ask ourselves, will archaeologists finally manage to open these sealed doors and reveal the secrets hidden within? Or will the unknowns of the Great Pyramid await future generations who dare to seek the truth? Check out our other videos to pursue more ancient mysteries, and join us in exploring the fascinating stories that history still waits to reveal. Thank you for watching our video. As always, take care until the next time.